Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello, everybody. Um, that was a game. That's fun. Uh, let me know if I'm having any audio issues, guys. Today is a day. As I'm saying in the chat, um, no, it's not actually Josh Anderson who's here who's causing the problems. It is good old me. Um, you'd think I was like 30 with the way I struggle. Not even 30. 30-year-olds know how to do this. You'd think I was like 60 the way I struggle with this sometimes. Today's culprit was I couldn't find my headphones. Um, but okay, perfect. Thank you guys. That was a game, right? That was a good one. I feel like I keep saying that because the Habs keep proving me wrong. Did they play their best game? No, I think we can all admit that. But um, Monty did his job, and at the end of the day, in the third, they did their jobs. And as per usual, Jake Evans only scores banger goals. To refer to the motto of the show. Um, so I am just here alone with you guys tonight. Um, and I'm gonna need your help, essentially. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm a little flustered. You know what, you guys, can you see my face better? Okay, let's let's do that. Um, yeah, I'm a little flustered, as Andrew says. Please be nice to me. I can't guarantee the second half, but at least the first I can ask you. Um, so, for you, those of you who don't know or don't have social media or don't follow me on either Blue Sky or Twitter, you won't see that I put out a call for questions or discussions that we could have. Since you guys are such a big part of the show. It's always so lovely to see you guys. I'm seeing all of our regulars. Claire's here. Thank you, Claire. We got Quek chose, I think. Mark says it every single time, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you say it. Um, and for Zach, we got Frederick, we got all our lovely folks here. So I am assuming some of you sent in questions, some of you didn't. Not everybody has social media, which good for you, honestly. But for those of you who did, I will definitely be checking them out and seeing how that goes. Um, but first, before we get started, I would like to welcome everybody. I am Kay. I don't know why I'm doing an introduction, but I am Kay. Um, and I'm here with you guys today, just like always, as we always are as Game Over hosts. If you enjoy our content, be sure to like our video and subscribe. And if you don't enjoy our content, you can honestly leave a comment. It's fine. Don't thumbs down, but leave a comment. Um, so hi again. Hello. Um, I'm acting like I've never spoken English in my life, which I have. First, before we get into anything, I am going to say that I was right about Monty. Um, Everybody was being so not normal, uh, as tends to happen, really. Um, I think as soon as Monty had a bad game, then Dobesh played, considering his body of work, people were so ready to tell Monty to take the backup. It was never going to happen, guys. Coaches don't like putting that much pressure on a rookie goalie until they're like, I don't know, like a prodigy. Even then, Monty's deserved chances. If Monty had a bad game, he deserves a second chance to have a better game. He's That's kind of how seniority works. Um, and I don't think he's just getting these starts based on the fact that he's been here longer. I think it's honestly a good decision. Um, we've seen, we've kind of, let me think of how to phrase this. Monty, Monty has kept this team in games that they had no business being in. Um, and we can give him a little slap. We can, let it happen a little bit. I honestly think that like Monty wasn't that bad. He wasn't great. He wasn't great by his standards. But he wasn't that bad on that game Saturday. Um, and honestly, it's not like Dobesh ran away with the job on Sunday when he got the chance, which by the way is not a like I'm not condemning Dobesh. I'm just saying that it's not like Dobesh had a perfect game either on Sunday. So I don't know why people were so ready to take away the starter's net from Monty. I think it's like literally just the new toy syndrome. I'm seeing some really interesting discussions in the chat, so I'm gonna take a look at that. Um, so I apologize, folks. I have a split lip and I have eczema, so I have some gross stuff happening, I guess, that's like making it really hard for me to open my mouth fully. So if I'm mumbling, I apologize. Um, so I see Trizak here saying, "Kay, why can't you be normal?" Habs fans scream. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I see MFM here kind of talking a little bit about to quote, he said in an interview that he had a hard time sleeping Saturday night. It was weighing on him. And I see here that check. Okay, I saw that you told me earlier, so I'm going to look back and see. Because you told me how to pronounce it, so I'm gonna check Kechos? I'm so sorry. But they say that we had such an elite number one in the past that we are always looking for a number one. Can we not just play a tandem close to 50-50? It's not Dobesh or Monty. Yeah, I think that's it. Um, we are in a world where we're moving away from the model of the true elite goalie. It's not a mistake. Keck shows. Got it. Thank you, everybody. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I think we're in this world where it's not really the world of an elite goalie anymore. The NHL has set it up so that offense is the main priority, which I don't know, goals are fun, so I understand. I do also follow a goalie or two who are not thrilled about it. Um, but ultimately, I think right now we need to just accept that Montreal has great goalie luck. We've had some really good goalies, even in the last little while, guys. Like Monty's played his ass off when he's been good. Um, but at the same time, we can't just expect a goalie to be Carey Price. I think logically everybody knows that. When I say that out loud, that like not everybody can be Carey Price, it seems like such an obvious way of like obvious thing to say. But I think this fan base almost forgets sometimes. We're spoiled. Um, and it's really funny because people in the past would get mad at Monty for like ruining the tank, for playing too well, and now he's not. Um, I don't know. I'm just gonna take a victory lap because I think we can admit that no, not we. I was not. I think a lot of you were not, but there were certainly some people who were ready to throw Monty to the wolves. And I just don't think that's something that like Monty's earned. Um Trinka says to teach me how to swear in French. Um why not? Not tonight, but why not? um Matthew says here, which hello Matthew, is remember same fan base that wanted to fire St. Louis and also wanted to burn down the rebuild after the first couple of weeks. Not saying those are all fans, but they're the ones that wanted Monty gone. And I get that. I see what you're saying, but I did see some very rational people kind of lose their minds for whatever reason. And I think part of it is that Dobesh is just really likable. I think we as fans just we want him to succeed, obviously. And so there's a certain amount of, oh, like, what if Dobesh had this great story where, guys, he's already had a great story. This like story of him with coming in with 5 wins, I think it is. Um, I just think that it's a great story and it means that we don't need to put a lot of pressure on him. Sorry, I'm just literally trying to move around my window. Uh, just want to be able to see you guys. I think I mentioned this last show as well, but I'm in a new place. I'm not like, as you can see from my background, it's not my usual. So it's a little bit of a it's a little bit of a rebuild. A rebuild? No, not a rebuild. It's a bit of an adjustment. Um, Adam says that such a huge bounce back game for him. Rather not get caved in so much in shots, but this is the kind of game Monty needed after Saturday. Yeah, I I think that's a good call. A good call out. In this wasn't the Habs' best game. Um, they I'm not sure they deserve to win this one, but also I think they did because Tampa sucks and Kucherov can go eat rocks. Is that the saying? Kick rocks? I don't know. But he could go eat rocks too. I do not like that guy. Um, so any amount of really just uh making him sad, making him upset, love it. Love it. Um, Outrage says that let Dobie have a bad game and watch everybody turn on him. And yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Um, we eat our own way too much. Um, but I think that it's getting better. I think we're all getting better as we kind of learn that athletes are human beings. It's an insane thing to say, but like it's true. Um, I I'm not sure. I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they haven't seen it. But Patrick Lining did go on Spitting Chicklets, and gave an interview. I have my thoughts and opinions on that platform, but uh, he did say some really interesting things about where his mental health was at. And if you are interested, then um, you can we can talk about it. If you like not right now because I don't want to spoil people, but we can talk about it in another stream or talk about it on social media. Um, I was gonna say email me if you're not on social media, but you guys don't know my email. Um, so keeping up with the chat today. Line. Yes, Frederick points out Line, two apples. And Bernardo adds that that's two primary apples. Yeah, it was such a good game from him. I don't think he had a bad game last game, but Toronto was not great. Um, so I'm glad to see him building on it. I think that I'm so happy for Alex Newhook. I think he really earned that goal. He's been doing some great stuff, both offensively and defensively. I know Marty, again, kind of referencing an article that Arpon Basu talked or wrote. He didn't talk his article, he wrote it. Arpon Basu's article and the podcast, the Basu and Godin Notebook. et cetera, et cetera. They kind of talked a little bit about how Marty was unprompted brought up that that Newhook could use his speed to be better defensively, not just offensively. And I think we're seeing that now. And we're seeing Newhook come back, beat people to the puck, um, just be a little bit more complete. Now, to be honest, I haven't taken a look at the numbers. Um, I have my thoughts about that. So, like, I actually would like your thoughts on this, if you have any. Um, I so there's one part of me that thinks that looking at those numbers, at those advanced stats, and looking and before you make any judgments, like looking at those stats and then making your judgments from that. And obviously you mix what you've seen with your eyes, but you kind of lean on the stats. Um, but where I'm at right now is that I don't know. I want to be able to give you guys my opinion and what I see. Obviously, I'm learning. I'm learning more and more about advanced stats and all that stuff, but I don't know. Talk about I don't know. I want to I'm a I want to tell you guys how I feel, right? Like I don't want the numbers to drive how I feel. Um so I just realized I haven't promoted those at all. So uh I'm hopeful that my fellow network hosts are being nice about it and did that for me instead. Um just kind of if you have a Twitter, it's completely separate. But I did want to bring this up. If you have a Twitter account, I think we're all hoping that there will be a bigger shift to Blue Sky. Um, I, don't really want to get into it, but I do not respect or want to support Elon Musk or anything he does, but I do have a community there. I have a lot of people. I have I have a account that I've had for what, like since I was in high school. So these are people I've known forever, and I'm going to try my best to I don't know, find alternatives. But if if you have a Twitter account, Blue Sky is really similar. It's not that hard to use. In fact, it's kind of better because you can like in terms of like blocking and muting, it's a little better. Um so be like I really want more hockey people on there because that's one of the reasons that like other than the private accounts, like that's the other reason why I'm not on there like all the time. I'd like to move as much as I could. So yeah, if you are on if you're on Twitter but not on Blue Sky, um, try to make that move. Yeah. Hmm. Roger, I gotta disagree with that, buddy. I'm not a that was a rough move on the inauguration, but whatever. Um, so well, I would say, Roger, I am on the left. So that's as far as I'm going to get into it right now, but I am on the left. I do believe in leftist values. So just so you know. Um and you're welcome to make your decisions from then, but I do want to let you know that. Um so yeah. Thomas says here that I that we should all collectively leave social media. It's deranging us. Yeah. Uh, in an ideal world, yes. But I think we've, I don't want to really get into this, but like, in an ideal world, yes. But I think we've built a society that is so disconnected from one another that, we're all working, working, working. And we have a hard time making community. So I don't know. It is what it is. Uh, let's look at some of the questions from our little further back. What was happening with the Josh Anderson bit, guys? Um, D-list Josh Anderson? I That's only as far as I can scroll back. I'm assuming there's a little bit more to it. Um, oh yeah, I see you guys have met Trinka the mod now instead of just Trinka the chat lovely person in our chat because for those who weren't around the last show, I put somebody in mute, or I was trying to put somebody in mute on the chat, just kind of time them out, a little bit of a timeout. Come back when you're feeling nicer. And I was like talking to Nick, who our last guest, Nick Zeraris, who I respect a lot. I really enjoy his content. So I was talking to him, I was trying to listen to him, and I was trying to do that at the same time. Long story short, I accidentally muted Trinka. And then in an attempt to unmute, I couldn't figure it out. So I just accidentally made her mod. And so this is where we're at. That's how you accidental mods. Um yes, Clara points out that people on Blue Sky are posting starter packs for hockey accounts and other types as well. Yes, I will also plug really quickly, Game Over, the main account, has a list of all its hosts. Obviously I'm on there as a host, and all of our lovely folks are there, so that's an easy way to kind of find all of us. I'm going to shift periods, I think. But before I do, we are trying something a little bit new, um, in terms of ad reads. So, uh, I'm gonna shift into the second period, but as I do that, Andrew will follow you. Creepy way to say it, but here's Andrew for you.
We are so excited to tell you about our new partner here at Game Over Montreal, a delightfully witchy goth and glam jewelry store making handcrafted art that varies from subtle silver to gold pieces to glamorous bespoke. Inchu Bijou is more than just a company. They've built a community through advocacy and a welcoming attitude that has made them an institution here in Montreal. Located in the historic Chateau Saint Ambroise, Inchu Bijou also runs seasonal themed markets called Maleficarum Market or Marché Maleficarum en français, where artisans from all over get together and showcase and sell their wares. Drop by 4000 Rue Saint Ambroise, Suite 278, and say hi to Astrid and the Wicked team, or head to inchubijou.com and enhance your style. The next Maleficarum Market will be on the weekend of February 8th and 9th. We'll see you there. Now, let's get back to the show, but before you do, make sure you subscribe to Game Over Montreal, Game Over Network, and smash like on this video because it really helps us out.
I see what happened. Never mind. That's my first time running the ad, so there were a little bit of a mute issue, but I am back. Um, I talk with my hands a lot. Like I feel like I'm very expressive, so if nothing else, you guys can like play not charades, but you know, try and see if you can guess what I was saying. Um, so yes, I hope I am back. Let me know if I'm not. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to Blue Sky and let's see if I can find a way to share this right now. Um, so I want you guys to be able to see obviously what I'm looking at, but also it's very fun if you can't. Also, how about that ghoulie like twist of the elbow? That looked gross. That was nasty. I was not thrilled with what I saw. Um, but he seemed okay. So I don't know if that like there's so many blocked shots that he like comes that he takes and then just comes back from that like sting. I'm just wondering if like the man has like an insane like pain threshold or if he just is an insane defenseman. Much like David Savard. Did everybody see those last few seconds of, of the game where David? Why am I calling him David? Where Savard was literally just sitting on the puck essentially to try to control it. It was a great bit by him, I think. Um for something that I asked you guys to do for me, aka give questions, I am wildly unprepared to actually show you guys. So okay. Um okay, I'll catch up on the chat because we're doing goalie talk, my favorite talk. Um Um, Also, yes, Adam, I have to agree. I do think, honestly, a lot of the Toronto folks I also know were on Kendrick's side. Rick Springhetti says, really enjoying Gooley's game in recent weeks. He's playing great defense as always, but he's also moving the puck well. Um, he also, Adam says, I was really worried Gooley was more seriously hurt. Frederick says, every game I'm afraid Gooley got hurt. Yeah, I think that's the nature of a shot blocking defenseman. I don't particularly enjoy it, but I feel like the better this team is, the less shots need to be blocked because there's less shots against them. Um, so Gooley can be less hurt as soon as this team starts playing better. That sounds vaguely like a threat. But I'm not making it. It's his teammates. So yeah. Um, Trinka, don't say that. Don't say that. That's really cruel and unusual punishment. Trinka says Gooley is the new Evans in terms of getting random injuries. I, I will not be acknowledging that. So we have on Blue Sky, I put out a request for questions or topics that anybody had for me to touch on. Um, and Trinka is not getting muted because I feel terrible about it. But okay. So I will link this Blue Sky actual the question I asked so everybody can, if they want to look, they can look later to see kind of what questions I'm looking at here. So uh first question is, do we think that Dobis' success has affected Monty mentally? He doesn't seem like someone who's affected by that stuff, very mentally stable and dialed in, but you can't help but think that in the back of his head he might think he's losing his spot, or maybe he's just like, thank fuck, I'm exhausted. uh to me, I think that it is a bit of a shift. I'm not gonna lie, I do think it might be a bit of a shift for Monty because the last time that his starting position was in danger was when Jake Allen. The last time Monty's net and his starting position was in danger was when he was fighting against Jake Allen. And we all saw how that went in the end. It was Jake Allen who got traded. Um we can like debate that until the cows come home. Another English expression that's really funny. Um but yeah. I think that this is the first time in a while that Monty's not the default goalie. So in a way, I think you might be onto something in terms of the fact that like it's no longer something he can take for granted, which I don't think Monty ever did. I think he's always been really aware But I think that there is a pressure that comes with having a goalie who's in danger of dethroning you. But I do think Monty knows a lot better than some of this fan base does that he's not going to lose that net so easy. Um, he's earned that net. He's earned a longer leash. Obviously Marty. Obviously Marty's going to want to kind of prioritize winning. But if he thinks that giving his like starting goalie the chance to earn back his net is what's going to win in the end, I can't blame him for thinking that. Like I personally wouldn't want to go into, let's say they get into the playoffs, to go into the playoffs with Dobesh as the starter. I'm just not comfortable with that. Um so yeah, I think he's probably relieved that he has some uh kind of relief, really. He's relieved because he has relief now. Um But I do think that I think Monty might just be the kind of goalie who I remember earlier in the chat, and I don't remember exactly who said it, but somebody said that um Monty mentioned that um he didn't sleep very well, I think Saturday. Um so I'm sure it bothers him a little bit. I mean, he's an athlete. He should want to win. That was an embarrassing loss, which I also have a something I'd like to point out about, but I'll come back to that. Remind me. Um, as if that's not my job. You guys remind me. um, but yeah, I think overall Monty doesn't like losing, but I think more than anything, the inconsistency to me comes down from the fact that he's playing so much. So I don't even know if he's mentally aware that he might be doing the, oh, thank God, I'm exhausted. I'm glad I have someone. But I think that in the end, it's that he's been playing so much that might be causing the inconsistency. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. But if you guys have any follow ups to that, feel free. Um, so just going to look at the chat a little bit. Uh, yes, Keck shows in on Blue Sky says with Demidov probably finding a way on the power play one fast next year. Who do you take out of the actual unit? I was actually thinking about this because I saw this question, and my first instinct was don't make me answer that, but my second instinct was let's think about this. So this is going to sound insane, but I wonder if you want to move either of excuse me, if you want to move either of Caulfield or Line off power play one. Um I That's insane, maybe, but I feel like I think it would have to be Cole who would be moved because you're not taking Line off that. He's obviously got the best shot. Um but then you have Demidov, who is obviously a goal scoring threat. So I don't know. I don't want to take Suzuki off the power play because I think he makes some great just chess kind of playing 3D chess moves. Um and I think I don't want to take Slav away because I'm really liking what he's starting to do in terms of crashing the net in terms of making himself the threat. Uh so obviously Lane isn't getting taken off the power play. He's a power play quarterback. Um, so I think it either comes down to Cole or Line, and I would take off Line or I would take off Cole. Um, but that feels bad to say. Like Bernardo says, it's not that insane. You can balance both units. Yeah, it's not, but it feels bad to say. Frederick says that I don't think Demidov will be on power play one starting next season. I don't think he's going to start next season on power play one. I think he's going to get there eventually. Um, I don't know if that's what you mean, and that like by the end of the season he'll be there, but to me that's kind of the view. He won't start on power play one, but he will end up there. We saw what Marty apparently, despite his stubbornness, had to eventually put Lane on power play one. He couldn't justify leaving Mike Matheson as the quarterback. Um, so yeah, I'd love your thoughts on this, but I think I don't know. I think that like I got nothing for you. My brain just short circuited. Um, that's kind of my thoughts. Um, Bernardo asked, "Did you guys see the insane goal today?" Yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait to have that guy playing on our team. But man, his stance is kind of like terrifies me. Um, it's working for him clearly, but it's just like his knees are so vulnerable. So I'm not sure if everybody's seen, but if you watched Demidov play, you'll see he skates with like his legs like fully apart at some points. Like when he's making a move, sometimes he'll like fully. It's almost funny looking. I can't even. I'm sure there's some defenseman, NHL player who does that, but I don't. I can't even think of who. Um, So yeah, it's a little bit weird. It looks a little weird. But it's also a thing of I don't know, man, it's working for you clearly. It's not a you problem. So I am really quickly. Ooh, guys. Oh, I just saw the Sharks. Last thing I knew, they were up, and now they are very much not. 7-5. Um Oh, another thing I'd like to come back to is the did we all see the Edmonton Oilers press release? Um oh, Priyanka says I'm looking on Twitter now. Priyanka says that tonight the Habs San Montembeault set a new career high for wins in a season with his 17th W. Yeah. I think that's so love that. I love that for our guy. You know, love that for snacks. Um I am going to switch to period two. And while I do that, I will let Andrew take it from here.
Looking to make awesome memories with your friends, take some promotional pictures or videos for your business? Check out Le Saint Motel in Montreal's Sud-West borough. It's an amazing selfie studio located in Montreal's historic Chateau Saint Ambroise, right next to Inchu Bijou. It boasts 12 plus unique decors for you to enjoy and make memories with. Hop into their iconic heart-shaped ball pit, or transport yourself back in time to Expo 67. Le Saint Motel can also come to you with mobile decor setups available to rent for events, including setup and takedown, or you can head to lesaintmotel.com right now for more details, or to check out their amazing decors that are always being updated. Now, let's get back to the show, but before you do, make sure you subscribe to Game Over Montreal, Game Over Network, and smash like on this video because it really helps us out.
I'm back. It's me. Um, yeah. Oh, I did literally everything else except change periods here. So I am going to change periods here. Um, okay. So, where was I? I was on the hellhole that is Twitter. Um, wait, let me check in with the chat. Oh, Justin Barron scored tonight. MFM tells me. Yay. Good for him. So yes, as promised, I am going to be looking at Twitter and see if you guys had any questions for me there. Gonna be humiliating if you guys didn't. It's not. I appreciate any amount of questions you guys give me, whether it's in the chat or on any social media platform. I'm going to check out. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. You guys want me to cry? I won't cry. Um, okay. Yeah, Bernardo says the Oilers press release was the biggest loser shit I've ever seen. Yeah, okay. So for some context, let me actually pull it up because I don't want to misquote the wonderful Edmonton Oilers press, I guess, or organization. It wasn't even the press, it was their entire organization, which makes it even more humiliating. Okay, so Connor McDavid got suspended, right? Because he cross-checked someone in the head. You cannot do that. Shocker, you can't do that actually. Um, but so what ended up happening is today and like just a few hours ago, so not even right after the suspension was kind of put out, the suspension was announced. So quite a late reaction. So that means they thought about it. Um, they like had this idea, thought about it. I would assume it went through a few people in order to be approved. And yeah, it's kind of insane. I'm just trying to pull it up here. Um, without showing you guys my entire browser. Mm, okay. So, the Edmonton Oilers released a Connor McDavid. They released a Connor McDavid. No, put a. They had a press. The Oilers website, official website, said something about the thing. Um, yeah, it's the best I can do right now, guys. I did my best. Just going to very quickly. Okay, so this is going to give myself away in my kind of uh actual plans for what I was planning to do with Photoshop here. What I will show you guys. So yeah, okay. Full screen, baby. Okay, I will show you now. Um, going to put that under the overlay. Okay. Uh, display capture. Just gonna. Okay. So my face is no longer on the stream, but that's fine. You guys don't we can have a break from each other, I think, for a second. It's not you, it's me. So you'll see that the Oilers essentially put out this statement of the Oilers have released the following statement regarding the 3-game suspension of team captain Connor McDavid. The Oilers organization is disappointed, and we share in our fans' frustration over the 3-game suspension of our captain, Connor McDavid. We support him through this process and the organization, and our fans look forward to having him back in the lineup versus Seattle next week. Which, like, who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that that was a no, do not shut down OBS? Oh my God, almost shut you guys down. Um, Fun last thing to talk about. Who thought that was a good idea? Uh, this like screams parent who is mad that their kid got in trouble and now came to their kid's defense, except now it makes them look like even more of a loser. Yeah. Yeah. It's just literally it's an insane thing to say. I don't know why in the world you would do that. It's just not. It's it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. with all due respect to my fellow Game Over Edmonton hosts, uh, I'm not a fan. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan. Um, because nobody likes a really good player, really. I mean, I'm sure I'd like him more if he was bad, but he's good and he's not on my team. So therefore, not a fan. Um, okay. So let's gossip, guys. No, I'm gonna talk a little bit about um what did I want to bring up? I wanted to bring up something. None of my business what I wanted to bring up, frankly. Um, so in the chat, actually, this is a great discussion. Um, who asked this? Frederick asked, just talking, what would you guys give for JT Miller? It's a pretty a good consensus here. Bernardo says nothing. Clara says zero fucks, lol. Um, Rick says no interest on JT Miller. MFM says nothing. So it's outrage says what outrage said. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I would agree with that. No, just no. Vaguely Sober joins us, says no, just no. Yeah, that's it. I don't want that guy on my team. Um, I like I don't know. Like, I don't want to speculate and spread any rumors or anything about him or his character. But I think one thing that is pretty well known is he's hard on his teammates. Some may say that's how you win. I would say if you are going to try to win like that, you better put up. Like, put up or shut up. And I'm not, that is what it is. I'm not interested. I don't think he fits our timeline either. He's old, right? I mean, like, what constitutes as old for a hockey player? JT Miller. He's 31. Yeah, he just doesn't fit our timeline. Even if I was interested in that, I just don't think he would fit our timeline. Um, oh, good question, Frederick. If the Habs are still in a wild card spot at the trade deadline, should Ket be a buyer? Bernardo says maybe a conservative buyer, which I assume means be really don't buy a lot, I think. To me, I would not buy anything. Or if you're going to buy anything, make sure it's a long-term thing. Um, I don't I think, yeah, Adam says, I think Kent will stick with the plan. Unlikely he makes a major buy. Yeah, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the press conference that he had, that Kent had, after the, what was it, like 10 game, like really good stretch, where essentially he was saying that um, I'm happy with this, but I'm not going to let it derail what we were going to do. I don't have the brain power right now to pull up those quotes, but if anybody has any of these interesting quotes, they can put them in the chat. But essentially, I think that's kind of what he said, is that he's not going to change plans based on what is happening right now. Now, here's the thing. I think what was happening right now was the plan. Like, maybe not this good, but I think they expected a better team. The team that they've had since they've had Patrick Laine is the team that they expected, I think. Um, or some version of that, maybe like a less good version of that. And I think that they're happy with what this team is finally doing because that's what they set them up for. I think the Carrier trade was a huge part of that. But to me, I think that they've made the moves that they needed to, and if they're gonna make any other moves, it should be like a big splash. Um, which dare I say I expect them to make one this summer. Um, yeah, Frederick kind of says what I'm thinking, and in my honest opinion, he should be both the buyer and seller. If Evans is not signed, he should trade him, but he should also target that guys that could come and stay for a long time. Um, Yeah, I think that that's kind of my thoughts on it too. Any any world in which Jake Evans is not a Montreal Canadian hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna suck if he leaves. Um, and I wouldn't blame him like at all if he did. Obviously, whatever best situation he can put himself in, he's welcome to. He just got married recently, I think. I'm sure he wants to build a family, like all that stuff. So I would respect whatever he did. Maybe I'd respect a little less if it was like the Leafs, which I don't think it would be. But like again, but my personal feelings is that I'd be sad. I'd be sad. I think I like the idea of him being a Hab. Um, for the foreseeable future anymore. Oh, did something happen, guys? Oh no. Oh, am I back? I think I just froze for a little bit. I hope I am back. That was scary, guys. I literally thought that was gonna be a problem. Um, yeah, Adam says, I think it was a plan to be like this towards the beginning of the season, but they were hoping on better goalieing from Primo, and they underestimated how shuffled of a defense it would be. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, we're back. Uh, Patrick says, rest in peace. Yeah. What happened is my laptop just froze for a second and I was so terrified. I am going to close a few things right now. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna take care of that really fast, because I don't want that to happen again. And OBS can be really fickle. And I think I've been pushing it a little too much by looking on Twitter while I do this. I see Armia. No, I do not see Jake Armia. Oh my God. Yoel Armia. I do not see Yoel Armia in the chat. I see someone saying that Jake and Yoel are a duo. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the reason why I laughed is because literally on everything I was like, I think my favorite pairing ever is Jarmia, which obviously is, their duo name. Um, Jake Armia is not what I was planning on saying, but who knows? So, okay. Ian says if you're in a playoff spot and Evans isn't signed, you can't trade him. The message that sends is horrible. And I'd like your thoughts on this because honestly, I kind of agree. Um, I think that if maybe you can trade him if you get something back. Oh yeah, yeah. Frederick says you can trade Evans if you also bring back someone else. I think that's kind of you need to show the guys that you aren't actively regressing. This team has worked too hard to be put in a situation where they're artificially kind of tanked a little. Um, and I do think a guy like Jake Arm I did it again. I do think a guy like Jake Evans is a part of a team that um can win. Guys, it's silly season. I don't have anybody keeping me on task. Um I also have like I don't like the idea of both Yoel Armia and Jake Evans both leaving this next little while, even if it is in the off season. I think you have to sign one of them. Um, and I know that that's like it seems very short-sighted, And maybe it is. I can admit that maybe I'm being a little bit, you know. Um, what did that mean? What did that hand action mean? I'm doing the Mark puppet. Oh, hello. Um, you guys are gonna trip me up in the chat with your Yoel Evans and Jake Armia. I'm already tripped up enough as is. I also have thoughts about David Savard. I wonder if I think the price really has to be like something David Savard probably shouldn't fetch in order for him to be traded. I don't think that trading him for a fourth rounder does anything. Um, I think in fact it really like sends a horrible message. Um, Bernardo. Um, okay, so Adam and Ian are having this great conversation. Um, and I'm a part of that conversation, I assume. Um, Adam says, I don't disagree. I would assume that's about Evans. I'm not sure, but it has something to do with Evans and Armia. Um, yeah, Adam says, I don't disagree, but I think Hughes is a bit of a player whisperer. He hasn't seemed to create he hasn't seemed to have created any noticeable animosity with his moves that I've seen anyways. Um, and I guess Ian, in response to what I was saying about bringing someone back in place of a guy like Evans, is I guess you could just immediately replace him, but at that point, you're spending assets to keep someone with the same impact as Jake Evans. You might as well keep the guy who knows the system. Um, and then Ian also follows up by saying three of their top four penalty killers are UFA. They're not all leaving. If Armia will stay at a lower cap hit, I'd keep him. Yeah. Um, I don't know, like and obviously I'm not judging or I'm not like giving any verdict on uh Owen Beck. It's gonna call him Owens. Guys, wrestling's on my mind now. Like we're talking Kevin Owens now. Oh my God. No. Owen Beck. I'm not like obviously it's been 2 games. He's not getting a lot of ice time. He's not like it's all that stuff. So we can't really tell what he is, but I really don't feel comfortable just depending on like our bottom tier center prospects or rookies kind of stepping up. I'm not um we've seen that like guys can take a long time to get used to it, or in the case of like Kirby Doc, if he's injured it's going to take him a while to get back to it. Now in that few months that he's still not back to it, what are we going to do? Like are we just going to roll with that? um I mean, apparently that's what they did and it worked in this case, but I think if you're actively trying to competitive from day one, um I don't necessarily know if that's a good idea um to depend on the babies. Um Ian, do you mind telling me who you think their like top three penalty killers are? Because I assume I know you mean Evans and Armia. I assume you probably also mean Suzuki or one of the oh, the third I assume that you're talking about is Savard. But I don't know who the fourth that you're talking about. That's just a curiosity thing. Um, gonna have a sip of water. That was a chug. Okay, Armia Evans is Savard. Yeah, yeah, fair. Uh, I love using my brain and eventually coming to the right conclusion. Um, MFM says, Teams have started their number one goalies more often against us. It means we're seen as a threat more and more. What do you think that means for our odds? Um, Bernardo, you are convinced to make me say Jake Armia again, aren't you? Uh, Listen, they're like um they're essentially one. Frankly, their souls are tied together, I guess, this season anyways. Um yeah, Ian points out Suzuki. Okay, this is actually something that I was thinking. So Ian says Suzuki only really plays PK in big moments or when Devo slash Andy take a penalty. So Dvorak is gone, right? Like that's he's gone, right? Uh Despite like Cole Caulfield's absolute love for him, um I he's gone. So with Armia, Evans, uh Dvorak gone, now Josh Anderson is a penalty killer and a great one at that. So with those three like big penalty killers gone and David Savard, why do I keep forgetting about him? Um that poor man has blocked so many shots. I am concerned about his bones. But uh but the point being, I was thinking about this and I was like, if we get rid of that many of our if we get rid of that many of our penalty killers, Suzuki's gonna have to play more of the penalty kill, which then once again does that thing that Marty's been really good at not doing this year, which is playing Nick Suzuki for approximately 40 minutes of a game. Uh so or the fact is that you take him away from offensive situations. Um and in that case, you're neutering your first line or your first line center. Um, so yeah, I don't like the idea of that. I think you do need to have um stuff and things behind. This is We are on one today, guys. Trinka says they are a bonded pair. You must adopt both. Yeah. You know how there's a lot of like adoption agencies now who won't let you just like adopt one kitten, like they'll be like two, it's a bonded pair. Yeah, it's a bonded pair. Uh yeah. Um Adam asks a more interesting question is what kind of deal would we be happy to see Armia slash Evans sign to? Short term or long term slash cap hit. Um Also, yes, I do agree, Adam. Suzuki does need rest, and Bernardo, we are not putting Demidov on on the penalty kill. Um, Also, I see people being like, "Oh, he plays wing. Can he play center?" Immediately, that sends red flags. Like maybe it's true. Who am I to say? But immediately, anytime anybody's like, "Oh, he's a winger. Maybe he can be good enough to play center," I'm like, "Okay, well, let's not get carried away." He's not Jonathan Drouin, but we don't want to put him in that position. Um, um, what was I? Yes, I was looking at the interesting question about. I think a lot of this depends on what the cap does. We've recently got news that the cap is going up even more than we thought it was, which we already kind of thought it was going up a good amount, but it's apparently going up even more than I thought it was. I'm gonna start the third period, guys. Give me a second. I'm supposed to do my job, quote unquote. What a world. Um, oh, this is so funny. Uh, I've managed to not have a third period loaded up. Um, but here we go. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull the chat back up. Um, yeah, I think that like Sorry, just getting caught up in what you guys said. Um, Adam, Adam says my least favorite Habs phrase. Maybe he can play center. Vaguely sober. We are not paying him. We're not paying either Armia or Evans 9 million. Now, if Yoel Evans will take 9 million, still a lot, but like maybe. Um, at that point, we're talking about like conjoined twins. I don't like the way this conversation is going right now, so I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. Um, yeah. Again, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. We are talking contract. Yeah, I think it all just depends on what the cap does. I think if we do keep him, it's a Haley Sober tells me that that's the jump that he was telling me about. Yeah, it's I was like, we are not giving those two 9 million. Again, I am on one today, but um all right, Claire's heading out. Good night, Claire. Uh, thank you so much for stopping by. It's again silly season. Um, listen, I don't very often say important things anyway, so don't miss about it. Don't worry about it. Um, yeah. My I think a lot of people are gonna deal with some sticker shock about bottom six players once the cap is raised. Um, because if we're gonna compare it to things that don't actually um exist in the context that they existed of, if that makes sense. Uh, okay. Thank you, Claire. That's very sweet of you. Um, or Claire could be talking about the game, in which case this is embarrassing. Yes, but thank you. Frederick says Evans is having a career year. He will want to cash out. He might, and I wouldn't hold it against him if he did. I would hope he would take a discount, but I wouldn't hold it against him if he did. Um, Nikita Kucherov, unlikable, really unlikable. I don't like that guy. I think I started off this stream by telling you guys how much I don't like him. Um, and still don't like him. Update. How long have we been on here? An hour? Still do not like him. He's so frustrating. Um, he's just annoying and not likable. Uh, the at the fucking press conference from the 2021 post post win, I guess. Um Bernardo, I will ban you. Uh Daily Silver says Cooch trying too hard to be the Marchand rat. Yeah. Uh Bernardo, I'm not saying I'd mute you. I would straight up ban you for that one. Do not compliment Kucherov in my chat. I will not stand for this. Um yeah, I will never like that. I'll never forget that. And like I'm sure that like I can't even say I'm sure he regrets it. Like I don't know what that guy like is about. Um but kind of knowing that he was doing that bullshit like presser while Carey Price and Shea Weber were sitting next to each other answering questions, knowing full well that both their careers had a good chance of ending. Um, and like Kucherov being like, "Oh, they were cheering like they won the cup." Yeah, because their fan base fucking cares. Because Montreal cares. And I'm sorry that you're mad that like Tampa doesn't cheer as hard. So yeah, screw you, dude. I get so mad about it. So yeah, just oof. Just gonna outrage. How dare you? Um. Ian, yes. Oh my God, yes. Ian says, if the Lightning were bad, we'd be talking about how shitty Kucherov's body language is all the time. Yeah. I've watched him be a sore baby loser in the Stanley Cup Finals. Um, I saw him like completely fall apart. There's a lot you can like it's just if it's bullshit. And it's not how you lead. Does he have an A? I can't. I know he doesn't have the C, but let's just Google this. Nikita Kucherov. Yeah, he has an A. Oh my God. How are you going to act like that as a guy with an A? That's ridiculous. I'm not a fan. I don't I can't like talk about him personally, but um I don't. Yes, Vaguely Sober points out, yes, the end of game 6 where he threw his gloves at the trainer. Yeah, this was game 6 versus the Avs, when Tampa shit themselves, and they didn't even shit themselves because they were beat down. The bad team. Uh, sorry, I'm so bitter. Um, but yeah, he's not. Yeah, I just get really upset. I'm sure he's whatever he is in his personal life. I'm not claiming to know him. I'm not claiming to know anything about him. I do not like his body language, and I do not like. I will. The fans in Montreal are right to be booing him, um, and he deserves that. Like, I'm sorry, like, absolutely, you cannot say that about a fan base and not expect to be booed. Um, and honestly, it's kind of dope how much the Habs fan base commits to the bit. Like, Chris Kreider, what, 10, 11 years later, is still being booed. Um, and he deserves it, and the fan base is never gonna forget. And Nick and I actually had a discussion about this in our last stream, which if you hadn't checked out, please do. So we had a discussion about this, about how like that animosity still lives. So the animosity we're talking about obviously is Kucherov, not Kucherov, another asshole, Kreider, running Carey Price and essentially giving him a knee injury that would come back time and time again to haunt him and eventually lead to his career ending. Um, so yeah, um, I think that's something that like again debate till the cows come home about oh the Habs player tripped him. No, no, they didn't. After he says I'm getting pissed at the mention of Kreider. Yeah. Anyways, my point being that I think it's kind of like I'm not gonna say that word out loud because like people will like take it the wrong way, but like it's the social media like I'm not gonna say it, but like it's kind of like really like the only person in there who's like serving blank. Uh Good night, Frederick. Um Bernardo also says Kreider also sucks now. Yeah, nothing brings me more joy. Like truly nothing brings me more joy. Um I am going to very quickly turn us into our overtime period. We have been in overtime basically all show because I've been interacting with you guys, which this is so much fun. Guys, thank you so much for being so active. Every single time I'm like I mention this all the time and I feel like you guys are like getting sick of it probably, but it does mean a lot to me that you guys are here and interacting with me. And yeah, uh, so I was the reason why I laughed just now is um so last game, right? When they came back, when the Habs came back, somebody had thrown like a UP um plush, I guess, onto the ice and the players were kind of tossing it around and just there was one point where it was just lying on the ice all sad like anyways, I think that they might be turning that into a bit or a superstition because actual like Yuppie um from well yeah actual Yuppie the Yuppie suit um came out and kind of laid on center ice right after the celebration and actually when the broadcast was like zooming into him I was like geez that is a huge Yuppie stuffy like who that is massive and then he waved and I was like okay I'm just gonna send you guys the link in the chat because it's really fun um says why'd the players throw Yuppie around like that I don't know man I don't know It worked. It worked for them. Um, Bernard says, I know we want the Habs to make the playoffs, but even though the wins have been there, the process seems to be slacking. Should we still be happy? I think so. I think so. I don't think the process has slipped that much. Uh, See, my chaotic energy is just feeding off your chaotic energy, everybody. Um, yeah. Yeah. To me, I don't think it's been that bad. Uh, I do agree it's statistically not looked great, but like for example, uh, in the Leafs game, they did lose. Like we all saw that they lost. We were all really mad about it. But they did ultimately, fuck up. But at the start, they were doing great. I think there's something to be learned about the fact that you let go, and a team as good as Toronto, as much as that pains me to say, is going to make you pay. Um, but I I want to first of all, it's just nice to be happy about this team. Second of all, I am seeing progress. Like for example, again, I know everybody's gonna probably roll their eyes at me, but I think Caden Glue. Okay, let's try that again. Let me just swallow, take a second. Okay, so Caden Gooley, I think he's been playing like really, really good hockey. I know it's not like the longest sample size, but I see sustained good habits. I see good outreach is I think you can. I don't know, give it a shot. I'm not gonna ban you. Um but yeah, I'm not gonna ban you and say like I haven't I haven't threatened to do that already. Um anyways, Jesus, I was saying something. Yeah, I think like King Gooley's playing some of his best hockey. I'm seeing him defensively responsible, but also playing offensively free. Um he's doing so much like offensively. He is using his speed. He is beating out other players. He is throwing the body when he needs to. It's also really funny. I don't think I realized how small Carrier is until I see him next to Goulet. Um so yeah, I think that plus we're seeing Slav progress, which I think is so big. Um any amount of growth for that guy is worth it. Like at this point we're solidly out of bottom six pick like territory. So in that case, like it's worth it. Just commit, full send. And I do hope we get to see a little bit better from them, but also keep in mind we've had some like really hard opponents recently, and we've had some um rough kind of travel days. It's again, um I'm gonna like give away Arpin Basu's work or whatever, but like he wrote something about this, about how like tough it's been, about how their travel schedules kind of been hell on them. Um so yeah, I think it might be just like some fatigue. I don't know. I feel like I'm making excuses for this team, but I just need them to be like good, you know? Um Something I was gonna point out. Yes, okay. So I am going to go soon, because I have not eaten. Um, but I wanted to kind of share a story um that Slav. Okay, I am going to actually put this in the chat right now so I don't forget, because I do want to share this with you guys. I mute my monitor. Hope that you guys don't see it. um, it's a it's the Basu and Godin notebook. Just gonna share it because I know journalists kind of obviously journalists, people trying to put together these new forms of media deserve their kind of flowers. Um Oh my God. This is a decision I've made here. Um, yeah, okay. I am going to just share that with you guys. I don't feel bad talking about this one because they talked about it on their free show. Um, I'm just gonna send the link. Uh, so in the show at the beginning, they kind of talk a little bit about a story from the night of the Toronto game. Saturday night, we have Toronto fans in the barn. Um, and they're doing the thing that they do, where the thing that they should do as rivals really is taunt us. It's kind of pathetic because, but like whatever. Um, they do they by the end of the game, most Habs fans are out of that building. Don't blame them, but they're out of that building. And what would be the Ole version of the Bronx cheer? The Bronx Ole? I don't know, but the kind of the Leafs fans in the building start doing that. Um, and obviously, like, that fucking sucks as a player. That would make me like crawl away from anybody who's ever known me, and like it would be miserable and it would be humiliating. And it's fun. Fun? I don't know. Decide how you feel about it. Um, I'm gonna finish that story, but first, I want to remind you guys, if you are here and you haven't liked the video, please do. Please subscribe if you haven't. Anyways, yeah, Adam says so. Essentially, what they were talking to Slav pre-game, pre-game, yeah. Um, anyway, so they were talking to Slav about it. I don't remember the timeline. I'm sorry, guys. My brain's kind of jumbled right now, but in the video, if you watch it, you'll hear. And what happened is that like they were talking to Slav, and Slav was essentially like, I unprompted, brought up, I never want to hear the Bell Center sound like that again. Like completely unprompted, kind of just very matter of fact about it. And if you watch the video, he's like, Slav's like a really jokey guy. Like he'll say what he needs to and just be really calm about it, or like be really jokey about it. And he was still jokey when he was talking, but like he was also like you could tell he means it. It's funny, like he was like, I never want to hear the Bell Center sound like that again. And then later Arpin came back and asked him, like, what do you mean by that? And that's when like Slav eased up a little bit and he was like, you know what I mean. I don't need to tell you. Um, so yeah, give that episode a bit of a listen. It's their preview for their episode, so it's not the entire one, but there is some good stuff there. They also talk a little bit, I think, about Caden Gooley and his offensive exploits. Okay, this is where we are, guys. Um, I think it may be time for me to log off. Every single time I'm here alone, I'm like, I'm gonna not go this long. I'm gonna eat, But then I forget that I'm a yapper. I like yapping. If there's one thing I'll do, it's yap. Um, Also, like, I was a little nervous about the show. I'm not usually like I've gotten a lot better at not being so nervous, but I was a little nervous about it because I thought that like maybe I wasn't happiest with how the last show went. Because I like Nick is such a good guest, and like nothing that he did. It was literally I felt like I was a little bit behind the eight ball. But I Today was a great show. I still feel very scattered, but I feel your support, and that's lovely. Um, and King of the North, I will not repeat those words back. Now that I've learned how to mute slash ban people, you gotta watch out. I'm I know how to do that now. Um, okay. So I probably need some lozenges after this, to be honest. I've been yapping. But um I'm going to head out. I would yap your ears off, but I do need to eat. And I don't think you'd like to see me eat on stream, so yeah. Uh, okay. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, I know like time is like a currency and you guys give it to us, give it to me, and that is so I never take that for granted. And thank you. Thank you so much. I am going to head out, not sleep. I don't do that, but I'm gonna go eat. Love you guys. Take care, and I will see you in many games from now, like maybe 3 games. The next 3 games I think Andrew is doing, and then we'll see. You'll see me, you won't. I don't know. It's a mystery. All right, bye guys. Love you all.